Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, legally on paper, giving up birth name. Yeah, we predicted my channel name, my parents at least. And today, I am going to be reviewing episode 1 of the new Goosebumps show, Goosebumps the Vanishing. Ooh, scary! Yeah, it actually just came out today, and I've already binged the entire thing. Yeah, typical of me. And, we're gonna be reviewing this episodically, and soon enough, we'll be reviewing it as a whole. So, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications, and all that shit. Let's move on. Let's seriously, just dive right into this. What is this episode about? Episode 1, Stay Out of the Basement, Part 1, kicks off with a flashback to 1994, where a group of 4 teenagers are sneaking, or not really sneaking, it's abandoned, are going into an abandoned military fort, where they believe, or the wide majority of people believe, it's a conspiracy, that there have been some dangerous or top secret medical experiments conducted down there. And, when they travel to a certain part of the fort, the group encounters one of the kids' brothers, which is nicknamed Stinky, but is actually revealed in the episode later on that it's actually Anthony Brewer, the dad of the soon-to-be modern-day kids. Maddie, the brother of Anthony, counsels him about it, and, yeah, he runs off, and we don't know what's gonna happen to him, but we know that these 4 kids fucking up and vanish upon a trapdoor opening with them tinkering around, and a strange spore mist pops out, and Maddie fucking, his face melts. It's disgusting and disturbing, and we don't quite know what actually happened until later in the show. But for now, they have mysteriously vanished. Title card, weird ass intro, might I say. The intro looks lighting wise horrid, but whatever. And then you cut to modern day, I believe 2024, 2025, I presume 2024, for 30 years continuity sakes, when they say 30 years instead of 31. Devin and Cece are arriving in Gravesend, New York, that's the name of the town, and they're visiting their father, Anthony. Their parents had split up at some point. We never get to see the mom, but we get to meet the father, and he's one of the actual main characters. Anthony takes them home, and he introduces them to the whole city, pretty much. He takes them out to get some food, he brings them home and shows them where their rooms are, and he clarifies one thing, that he does not want them going into his basement, because his basement is where his botany work is, and they oblige. They don't want to go down there and disturb his work, since there's some sensitive stuff going on down there. Nothing scary down there quite yet. We get to meet Trey, who is the boyfriend of Frankie, and Frankie is a girl that Devin is very interested in. We'll say that at the very least. We get to meet Alex, who is this girl who always gets in trouble. We get to meet CJ, who's kind of a jokester and kind of a weirdo, but he's chill as fuck. You know, he's the chill guy, but in real life. And that's the cast. They all meet at the park sometime in the episode after, each getting their own little introduction scene, one at a store, one outside the house, and CJ kind of like convinces Devin and Cece to share their history with the vanished kids of 1994, because their uncle, Anthony, is the brother of Matty, one of the kids who had vanished in 1994, the one we saw his face get melted off. Yeah. As a dare, and Trey knows that Devin is really interested in his girlfriend, Trey's like, sneak in there, bro. Prove that you're not scared of that. After he's like, oh, I'm not really scared of it. I don't really think about it often. And, yeah, he kind of obliges with that there. And, yeah, you can expect how well that went. They sneak in, and Trey is like, you go in there fucking alone. And, yeah, he goes in completely alone. Devin goes into the room, which is down a long corridor, let alone it is supposed to be bolted up, and they had broken into the now kind of surveillanced fort. There's lighting and, you know, extra security, as in like 2 padlocks that you could break with bolt cutters and discover something really bad, but nonetheless, there was something there. And yeah, in this room, something really bad happens after Trey decides to fuck with some circuits. I don't know what his plan was, but it caused something to happen, and a trap door in the floor opens up, revealing a strange mist popping out. A spore-like substance, if you will. Much to say, Devin isn't a big fan of it. He comes stumbling out of the hallway, Cece comes to his aid, and he finally gets out of there. unharmed, seemingly. He has black goop coming down his face like that, and he seemingly can't recall anything as he full-on reveals the next day. They do not tell Anthony, the father of Devin and Cece. Nobody bothers to tell him because you don't want to tell him that, he'll get pretty crazy about it. Also, might I add that Anthony Brewer, there is this girl named Kim, I believe. She brought him the clothes of his now presumably deceased brother, because all that was left in the room after those kids vanished was literally just their clothes. They literally up and vanished. And yeah, now he has those clothes. Next up, Devin and Anthony to go to the retirement home, I think, which is where Grandma, or Anthony's mom, Devin's grandma, is being treated for dementia. She is staying there, and right now she's having a bit of a panic attack about Matty, the missing kid, because she still has not come to terms with the fact that he is completely gone, or at least so it seems, because he has vanished. We don't quite know what happened yet. She freaks out, but she is calmed down by Anthony, and then Anthony leaves Devin, and immediately she wastes no time. She basically attacks Devin, which is pretty scary. It is quickly stopped when a nurse lady walks in and takes the woman out of the room, and now Devin's just left stunned. Yeah, that's all that happens in retirement home. We just get a new character introduced. Devin and Anthony go home that night, and Anthony goes down to his lab to study the clothes that he had gotten. And he finds something weird on him. Spores, or some sort of dust, or grain. And he puts it into a little specimen cup thing, I don't know, or petri dish. And he takes a real good look at it. And some crazy shit goes down. It may or may not kind of telekinetically bring down a vine to infect it, and then completely infect his entire plants. It goes crazy. The plants attack Anthony and eventually lead their way to the sewer. Devin leaves the house after not getting an answer from Anthony when he wanted to know something about the kid who he had seen, because now he's recalling a memory in the room. Because Devin, when the trapdoor opened, he looked down in the trapdoor and he saw a kid staring up at him. And now it's revealed when he's looking through an old photo book that it is actually Matty, weirdly enough. And he doesn't get an answer from his dad, and he doesn't for a very long while. He goes outside, and he is attacked from the fucking sewer by these vines, which yank him down there and start strangling him. Only he is able to shut a sewer gate or grate system, and it snaps the vines off. So, yeah, basically decapitated the vines. And he is somewhat safe, but not unscathed. And then he has another dementia attack, and he doesn't remember what's happened. And he leaves the sewer pretty, confused about what had just happened. He goes back inside, and Anthony Brewer is still in the basement, only now the plants have seemingly just vanished into the petri dish. However, something has appeared now. Instead of vanishing like the show, we have Goosebumps appearing with some weird marks and scratches and things happening on his arm. Anthony's arm. We have no idea what's happening there, but it does not look good. And that is the end of Episode 1, Stay Out of the Basement, Part 1. Let's now review it. Overall, I think this episode had some pretty good stuff. The acting was top-notch. I think it was very good. I think the least good actor, if anything, was Devin, but I think he got better as the season went on and the episode went on. Overall, acting was pretty good. I think the story being set up here was done okayly, a little bit better than Season 1's idea, especially with it being a two-part first episode instead of just a one-part first episode. Because last season they focused on Say Cheese and Die for about 10 minutes, and now we focus on it for 10 minutes in the first episode, but it's also a two-parter, so we actually get quite a bit more of it past that, which I think is a good idea, and it's more forgiving. You can forgive it more for not focusing on the plant stuff too much, and even then, it still does a fair amount. There's a nice mystery setup. I think it does an okay job at introducing most characters, and I think there's some nice moments in here that are very memorable. Let alone the plant attack scene is very cool. Yeah, overall, I just really liked a lot of things about this episode, and I think it was overall quite an enjoyable experience, but I had some small issues with it. The soundtrack, it's a bit jarring, and I'm not a big fan of it. That's pretty much it to do with that. I just don't like some of the pop music they used, personally, because it's just kind of, jarring. It's distracting. It doesn't feel like Goosebumps, which is an issue a lot of people had the first season, and even here, I'm like, It's still not bad. It's just like I prefer a homemade soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? Something for the show, which we get, but they also reuse a lot of the season 1 soundtrack. But they do add some new stuff, to be fair. But still, it's like, bro. The acting for Devon at the start is not amazing, but I think it's fine. He gets better as the episode and the season goes on. And I think the characters are kind of weak here. Trey is just straight up an asshole, and he gets better as the season goes on. But, you know, it's not really a great character introduction, but I think it serves its purpose. You know, Trey's supposed to be this semi-antagonistic character. But then you have shit like Alex, me, who has the worst introduction of the whole group, being basically labeled as, hey, I'm a fucking asshole. Which is like, fuck that. It's a pretty bad character introduction. When she's actually, arguably enough, I think she's my favorite of the friend group. The entire core, like, 7 cast. Yeah. And also, I think that some stuff could have been exposited better in this episode. And just, there could have been some better ways of starting off and stuff. But overall, the mystery was started good. And I think the episode was enjoyable nonetheless, even with these issues. Let's move on to my rating. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything really to hate here besides, you know, Gen Z stuff. And there is some slang in here, forgot to mention, that is really cringe. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking bad. But it's forgivable, you get the idea. It is a part of the 2023 show. Now it's the 2025 show. We feel weird saying that, and it does right now. But yeah, and overall it's a good premiere episode, but I don't think it is amazing. But yeah, 8 out of 10. It's enjoyable, has some good moments, has some good acting, but some lesser good things about it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode review, and I'll see you guys in the next one for episode 2, Stay Out of the Basement Part 2. Goodbye.